This one is for, I don't know, old school gamer fans, I suppose. An homage or a nod to, or a remake, if you prefer, of what was Drug Wars and then became Dope Wars, and I believe it's still to this day, since 1984, made by Ben Webb. At least in some variant. There's online up-to-date modern ones. They're obviously going to be a lot better than mine because I'm not a coder, but this is the 1998 version by some hacker little group, or call themselves a hack little group. Still built in Delphi, Borland, in 4 or whatever, and it's pretty good. It works. In all honesty, it's probably better than my code, but we'll just sort of showcase my little version. So the only thing that's really useful for this is either, I suppose, A, if you wanted to maybe create an app like this, not using Borland, or if you did want to go back and use Borland, it's still pretty useful because that was the software that I used to create all of my Doom stuff and Doom launchers and things like that. And it's a quick way to make little menus and things, since modern software is shit. Anyway, my version, I slightly updated it yesterday, but it's still not perfect. So as you'll see, it's similar. We can enter a username and we can save and load the name as well. And we can pick a location, but that doesn't actually do anything for the moment. It's just to give us a wide variety of options. So the basic premise is you ride the train across the 6 locations, and then you buy and sell your finances to repay your debt, and the highest score that you get, you submit it to the website just as a little bit of fun. You'll see, even though my website is running and doesn't fucking do anything, I suppose I could implement that as the first time ever, but that's never going to happen. This is what we've got. So you'll notice some differences because that's sucker code, but you'll also notice some things that might be a little better as well. So we're all in one front menu window here, whereas this has pop-ups and alternative options for stuff. Got high scores, unit prices, sounds, and a help option. So that's pretty much it. That's literally all it is. You click on stuff, and now and again you'll get some wildcards that pop up for events that you want to stay. And in all honesty, I don't think I've ever fucking got a good score on the game, but whatever. I remember it from the 90s. So I did have the original kind of layout with a drop down box and stuff like that, which is here. Unfortunately, it got to the point where it became too complicated for some reason. So it would have been a lot nicer and a lot better to just do this and buy and sell these things. Unfortunately, that didn't work, but whatever. And there's another example because the sound effects stopped working. So that's a perfect example actually, because the code's identical and didn't work. But anyway, we'll go through some of the new features. So obviously we got the ability to do everything that we've got here. Should be working pretty much the same. You can repay your loans and do your finances. So during the 80s or 70s and 80s, maybe even towards the end of the 90s, obviously financial apps with the thing, and making little apps and any crappy app to go on the computer, and then it moved towards gaming, stuff like that. So you can buy and sell, calculate your averages. Now the one thing that was a bit of a bitch was it was nice to have all your weapons here and the ammo linked up, but for some reason this value wasn't saving, which was a bit of a bastard. So I spent last night trying to wrap my head around trying to get these two to link up here so that when you do shoot, those go down there. Because what was happening is I could not save this value for some reason. So it's a bit weird, but this value gets taken in and out and goes to this value, and then this value down here is actually the value that save. And there's plenty of examples of these bugs in here that will probably help people if they're working with it. Darkbite himself is not fucking interested in fixing anything at all. It's been well over a year now. But if I, for example, search for you can't, then let's have a look here. You'll notice that I've had to call something add some ammo you can't, because my add ammo button down here just randomly broke. And I have absolutely no idea why. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of bugs and stuff like that, but the app self-explanatory, you can see it. Pick your adventure. The adventures are not fully complete, but the basic idea is that you do the same events that you would do here, and we're just pulling the data and the sound effects and the dialogue from this game and passing it into this. And then you would complete an adventure and move up, and you can change your towns within the adventure locations, meaning that you've got 4, 8, 12, 16 options there, and obviously you've got the cities that you can from at the beginning, which means that, you'd have a total of whatever the fuck it is, 80 different options to choose from, which is a lot more than the 6. So 80 events should be enough to cover everything. This was the first time that I've tried adding files directly here. We've got an example of pulling images from a location on the PC, which for some reason is a hard address. Now there is a way around it, and I'm pretty sure I found codes to work out how to just boot from either within the app and store everything internally. Sound effects seem to work, but the images are separate. Again, it's just an example app for everyone to do their thing, I suppose. Pretty much the same as it was. I think it is pretty close. We need to work on events, but we can do this. Got a hide button, got a gun change button, and for some reason I don't shoot is it actually does anything, but whatever. Calculate average, play a name. Oh, save and load. So you can save and load the data. Should be pretty much working for everything. So I don't think day, time, and colors and stuff have been saved at the moment. I haven't done that. It's just a case of finding the save file and copying and pasting stuff over. Can enable debug and stuff if you want. I'll add a debug button to that. But this pretty much covers fucking everything. So there it is. DopeWars and Drug Wars covered in 6 minutes. Plenty of cheat engine templates and scripts and things like that I've written that may or may not be useful to people. You can go through and boot up and try. And where will I post it? On ModDB probably. So if GitHub has not implemented their two-factor authentication fucking bullshit scam, then I'll update that with the San Andreas stuff. There was actually 1 or 2 things I learned from making this little game menu, which was pretty much getting things performance-wise a little bit better. And just reminding myself that when you code, you actually need to fucking consider that things are dealing with memory. And obviously, you learn a lot of that from Cheat Engine, just memory regions and memory management. Anyway, so you can actually debug your own app. But there you go. Hopefully it'll be useful for someone. If not, it's just a fun little game, or they can make their own game from it, whatever.